This video is going to talk about how to solve proportions. When you're asked to solve proportions, it will typically look something like this when you see the problem. In a proportion, so 2 over 3 is the same as 4 to something, the x can be in any spot, that doesn't matter. There are two ways to solve this. The first way is by figuring out if 2 times something can get you 4. And let's say, well, we already know, where's my red marker? We know that 2 times 2 is 4. So because these are equivalent and these mean the same exact thing, we can just do 3 times 2, and that will get us our answer of 6. Where I've written the 6 is not the best spot to write your answer. That is not an appropriate answer. The appropriate way to answer a proportion is to say x is equal to 6. This is my answer. If you don't write your answer this way, you're going to miss out on some points. There's another way to solve this, and we're going to use the same problem to show you the first time. If you have 2 to 3 is the same as 4 to x, the other way to solve this is to cross multiply and divide. So the first thing you want to do is you want to multiply the two numbers that are farthest apart. The 3 and the 4 are farthest apart, so we're going to multiply 3 times 4, which is 12. There's a number left over, so after I've cross-multiplied, I'm going to divide by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. I've gotten the same answer as above, I just went about it a different way. To use this way in some cases is acceptable, to use the fractional one way. Cross-multiplying and dividing is probably the better way to go. And I say that is probably the better way to go because cross-multiplying and dividing works in all situations. The fractional one way will only work in some situations. This next example, finding a fractional one will not work, and you'll see why. Let's say that we have, just kidding, 4 over 5 is equivalent to x over 8. You don't know 5 times what gets you 8. There's no whole number that will get you 5 into 8. You won't come up with a good number. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to cross multiply and divide. It doesn't really matter where you put the answer in this case, but I always like to put the answer up top for another reason that we'll get into later. 4 times 8, well, 8 and 8 is 16. 16 is 16, that's 32. And now that I've cross-multiplied, I have to divide. So I'm going to take 32 divided by 5. Because I'm not 100% sure what that is, I'm going to put it in here. That's okay. 5 goes into 32. Well, I already know that 5 times 6 is 30. But I have a 2 left over. This is where you will not have a whole number for an answer. You don't always have to have a whole number for an answer. Even though it would go up here, doesn't have to happen. So we're going to take this 2 all the way from the bottom all the way to the top, like we've talked about. We're going to take the denominator from over here, so our answer is 6 and 2/5. X equals 6 and 2/5. And that is how you get your final answer for the proportion.